Who's in there? Sheldon in there. Should we show everyone Sheldon's enclosure? What do you think? Hi everyone, so I've just finished setting up Sheldon's outdoor enclosure for the summer. So this is an overview of Sheldon's enclosure. So this is a giant hide that she's got under that slate. She's got another hide in this pot. There's a little spot in the corner there that she really likes hiding in. So there's lots of places she can go to get away. She also enjoys basking in these areas here. So there's a big rock there that she likes to sit on, and up on that brick in the corner she likes to sort of tilt herself against the wall to optimise her soaking up all of the sun. So in this corner here she's got a nice shady spot because there's a rose that grows up the wall and sort of shades over this half of the enclosure. So she's got a big shallow water dish over there that is from when you have houseplants. It's like the base that goes underneath. It's like a drip tray basically that's meant for going under a pot, and it's really difficult to find tortoise dishes big enough for grown tortoises. It's easy to find the little reptile dishes for hatchlings, but once your tortoise has grown over that sort of size, and they want to be able to climb in it and comfortably soak, so that's a really good option for a shallow soaking dish. I don't know how well you can see it there, and I've just put loads of rocks in as well that just helps make it a lot easier for her to get in and out. So it needs to be shallow, so obviously she can't drown in it. This is a terrestrial species. They live on land, they're not aquatic, so it does need to be shallow. So this way she can easily get in and out, but she can fully soak herself in there. She's got a load of dandelions in the corner there, which she hasn't actually found and trampled yet, but give it time. She's got a big pansy plant there, which is safe to feed, so there's lots of pansies throughout this enclosure. So a website that I find really useful that I've mentioned in loads of my previous videos is the Tortoise Table, and it's basically a plant database, and you type in a plant name and it will tell you whether you can feed it, how frequently you can feed it. So that's mostly what I use for identification and whether or not I can feed it to my tortoise. She's got a little nestly place. She likes to go under the big grass here. She likes to hide under there. You find her quite frequently under there. She's got a rock here that she doesn't climb on. It's more just to add sort of depth and texture and break up the enclosure. Tortoises can get stressed if they have a small enclosure and they can see from one side to the other. They quite like if it's broken up, and it just makes it a bit more exciting for them and makes them feel like they're exploring. So there's a big patch of grass here. So tortoises need different surfaces. Oh, there's a bird up there. Sometimes the birds come and bath in this water here, which is really sweet, but it does mean it gets grubby quickly. Oh, here he goes. Anyway, it's a big patch of grass here, so tortoises need different surfaces. They can't only be on grassy areas. It can mean that it stays too moist and they can get things like shell rot, respiratory infections if it's too humid for them. So they do need not just grass, they do need sort of stony areas. That will also help to scrape their nails down and keep them from becoming too overgrown. So yeah, they do need a variety of textures and surfaces. Obviously also she can eat this if she wants to. She's not really a fan of grass, but I can dream. There's also a big stick here that she can climb over, and that just again breaks up the enclosure. She can scrabble over it. She loves climbing. It also prevents the grass from spreading too much, because otherwise this would take over the whole enclosure. So here is a really, really sad looking dandelion. Dandelions I find really hard to transplant. It's really annoying because they grow everywhere where you don't want them to, and then you try and encourage them to grow somewhere and they do this. So hopefully that one will bounce back. I'm not that hopeful. Again, this thistle's looking a little bit sad, although this one here is doing really well. So I don't know how that works, but this is a sow thistle. So lots of thistles are also suitable for tortoises to eat. And I love how it's quite a big plant, breaks up the enclosure, she can go underneath it. And this one's not too spiky. I don't like giving tortoises really spiky plants because I feel like it could injure their eyes, or I just quite like giving soft plants. So this isn't too spiky, which I like. So here she's got a terracotta pot and a gnome. She doesn't need the gnome, but I like it. I think it cheers up the place. It's the most hideous gnome I could find, but I like him, he's jolly. There's another pansy there. This one she hasn't got to yet. she tends to eat all the flowers off first. So there is a couple of wild strawberries here and here. So they are a feed sparingly, so there's only a couple of really little plants there, and if she does start devouring the whole lot, I'll have to take them away. There's also a nettle over there, which I think is a moderate feed. I'll put all of this on screen because I can't remember off the top of my head, but that's only a tiny plant, so we don't worry too much if she eats that. There's another pansy there. This is a plant called charlock, which I think is part of the brassica family, but this is a safe feed. Oh, is he going to drink? No, there's a bird who's determined he's going to have a drink, but I'm obviously putting him off. I think this is either a safe feed or a moderate feed, so I'll have to keep an eye on that, but actually she's completely ignored it so far, and I love the way it looks in here, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Another dandelion up there, that one's doing much better than this sad one here. So this is Goose Grass, which is a sparing feed, I want to say. This isn't actually growing here, I've just picked this for her today and shoved it in, so she doesn't get that all the time. But it's a bit of variety, and variety is really important in tortoises' diets. There are some dandelion flowers. They're not growing there either. I picked them around the garden and poked them in for her to find because they are her favourite thing ever. So there's another big rock there, and she doesn't climb on that one. I would have to be a bit careful if she did, because if she fell she could flip herself over, and it's really dangerous if they aren't able to self-right, because then they can basically die. So it's really important that she doesn't flip herself over. But she does go up and tilt herself up to face the sun, which is amazing. It's sort of optimising how much UV rays and heat they're soaking up. Tortoises are absolutely fascinating. There's another bit of a log thing there, again for her to climb over to break up the enclosure. There's a whole little collection of pansies or violas here as well, and they're basically for her to completely destroy. She will stomp on them, eat the flowers. They will die. I'm quite prepared for that. I did buy quite a lot of pansies this year. I wasn't expecting that many. I bought these big ones which I've planted up along there, and then I found these in the sale for like 70p, so I thought, you know, they're safe for her to eat pretty much as she wants. Although again, variety is important, but if she does eat them all, it's not going to make her poorly, and she'll just love stomping on them. So the things we do for our tortoises. So I thought I would just add, because I forgot to mention, that these plants were weathered very well before putting them in Sheldon's enclosure. I didn't buy them and put them straight in because you don't know whether they've been treated with any fertilisers or pesticides. So I have left them outside for about 3 to 4 weeks just to wash off the rain and for new growth to come through. And I did check the soil and there was no sort of perlite or anything like that. So I do believe that this is now safe. So that's just a couple of the steps that I take to ensure things that I buy from garden centres or from supermarkets are safe for her. There's more weeds sort of growing up on the top of here. Obviously she can't reach them, but I can pick them and chuck them in. There's dandelions down here and stuff as well. So luckily I'm very good at cultivating weeds. So down here, I don't know if you can see because it's in the shade. There we go. This is a very sad looking plantain. I do need to dig up some more plantain and feed for her. Plantain are really, really good for tortoises. They're something that you can feed on a daily basis as well. They're really beneficial, really high in fibre. So I do need to pick some more and plant, but because she loves them so much, she just destroys them instantly. So this one is trying to hang on in there, but she's basically eaten off every leaf, so I don't know how long that one will survive for. So here we have some more pansies. Pansies all along here again. I got a bit carried away in the sales. There's some tufts of grass here. She's got a nasturtium, so that is I believe a moderate feed, so I've only got a small plant in there this year. Last year I planted a few along the back and they absolutely took over, so I'm going to need to manage that a little bit better this year. That's just a old stump that I couldn't pull out. And here are some, I don't know what the technical name is, but I've always called them Pennywort, and they are, I believe, a safe feed or a moderate feed. Anyway, they tend to grow in the wall here, so I've just pulled some out and replanted them there, so hopefully they'll take. But they're a really squishy, like succulent-y plant. I think that's pretty much it for the plants in here. So I do grow a lot of succulents myself on windowsills as well, so she does get those. So I thought it would just be easier to show you rather than trying to remember some names of succulents. I'm not very good with plants. I've got a huge aloe vera plant here, so I do cut bits off and feed her. These are all from cactuses for tortoises, so I know they are tortoise safe. They're all grown with tortoise safe compost, not sprayed with any chemicals, pesticides, fertilisers, any of that stuff. Apart from that, that is not for Sheldon, that is just a plant. So ignore that one, but all of these, you know, are from there, and they are safe for tortoises. So I'm really just waiting for them to establish. I would quite like to have an enclosure with live plants like this inside, but these really aren't that well established, so I've just been cutting off little bits and feeding to her. And my hibiscus survived the winter. It's budding. Yay! So I think that's pretty much it for Sheldon's enclosure. She's finally going to come out and explore. Now I've finished filming the video, which is typical. Thanks, Sheldon. But I really do try and get her out into her outside enclosure as much as possible, as much as the British weather allows, really. It is really important for them to get as much natural light as possible. Obviously, she's got a mercury vapour bulb in her indoor enclosure, which as best recreates natural sunlight as possible, but it's still not quite the same. So as much as they can get outside, the better, really. And yeah, I'm not very good at keeping live plants alive in her indoor enclosure. The only thing I can really successfully keep alive is spider plants. So let me know if you have any tips for keeping live plants alive in indoor enclosures. But here's Sheldon. I hope you enjoyed seeing her outdoor enclosure, and I hope it gave you some ideas if you have a tortoise and you're looking to do an outdoor enclosure for them. So Sheldon is actually off to our local vet soon. She is going to go and be a demo tortoise for some vet nurses who need to get some tortoise experience. So that's really exciting. And you see this leaning action. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!